Good morning, Andy here on pathhealingarts.com. Welcome to Tuesday morning Qigong and Tai Chi. We have a little experiential session. Do as much or as little as you can. It's up to you. Always pay heed to your own body, and you are your own highest authority. So whatever you're called to do or not to do, it's up to you. We're not into the no pain, no gain. So listen to the body feedback. If there's pain, you go ahead and just modify it, adjust it, or skip it. So we want to take good care of our bodies and let ourselves have a gradual increase in energy, body mobility, and life experience. So here we go. All right, let's jump into it. You can join me weekly on Zoom classes. You can find me on onpathhealingarts.com under online classes for the schedule. Be live on YouTube this morning, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday in the afternoon, 4:30 Arizona time, and Thursday morning for Kung Fu Fitness, 8 a.m. And again, Wednesday's energy meditation. So let's go ahead and get into it. Just kind of shake it out a little bit. If you have joint pain, then you might want to be slow and deliberate and light and just slowly work into feeling the body, what's going on in there. That's feeling pretty good, and you want to get vigorous with it. You can shake the branches of the tree, just letting go of whatever is no longer needed, creating space in the body, opening up the joints, opening up the body, blood flow, breath, energy. And let it relax. I find myself here. I am here. I am here, and they are here with me. I am here in this place. I am here in this body, in this heart, with this mind, in this awareness. I am here in this moment, as I am now in this experience. I am here with this intention. And in this process and journey, every day in every way, we are growing healthier, stronger, better, and wiser. Adjusting the breath. Exhale, press the hands down. Squeeze it deep into the belly. Fill from the belly up to the chest. Hold it for a moment. Feel the fullness of the breath. And let it go. Releasing what we don't need. Ready to take in more of what we do need. Gather. New, fresh, full breath. And letting go. Expelling from the body what's not needed. Gather, filling from the belly up. Release into the body, down into the belly. And out the breath. Excellent. Shake it out a little bit. Shake a leg. Step in place. A couple pro tips. High and light is easier. Wide and deep is more challenging. So whatever you need to do to make your adjustment, we won't do a whole lot of stepping. Pretty much we'll do most of what we do about the space of a yoga mat. So just make sure you have wingspan and a little bit of room around you, and always take it in the way that's best for you. And here we go. Exhale, priming the pump, adjusting the breath. The most important things we could do each day: breathe, belly to the chest. Hold it in, recalibrating the body, physiology, breath. Exhale, getting the mind to calm, to focus in this body, in this moment. Breathe it in, feel the fullness. Squeeze it out from the chest down into the belly. And then relax the breath. Allowing ourselves to return to homeostasis, our best possible healing potential. And activating the hands, chi up. If you're somewhere where you can't be loud and clap, or you might freak somebody out, then just hold your hands together for a moment and rub them. And if the rubbing is tiresome, just hold your hands together, breathe. All these exercises and activities and stretches are just their technique, their practice, their way to get the body calibrated, get the mind focused, balance our emotions, get into our body, into our life. Comfortable standing, but if you prefer, you might sway back and forth or twist lightly in place. You might have to occasionally adjust your feet. You could do all this seated in a chair, especially at the edge of a chair, and relax the hands, open up like you're holding a ball, a bubble in between your hands, soft and delicate, breath in the belly, feeling the residual physical sensations of the pressing and rubbing, the friction. What remains is an intensified field of energy. Now we're just going to gently lift that towards our face like we're applying a nice, comfortable, warm washcloth. And we're just going to let that float down the body, the heart, the body, the belly, into the feet, into the earth, and reach out to the sides, scooping out. I'm going to press myself a little bit down and gather myself up. Holding that ball and let it float down. Allow it to expand below my feet, around my body, above my head. Concentrate into a smaller ball and let it float down. Lift chi up, pour chi down. From the outside in. Gather. If you can't reach up above your head, reach out in front somewhere. It's all the same. Now from the inside out, from below my feet, through my body, up my head, up over my head, expanding all around me. All around me, my personal space. I claim the space in my body, around my body. Open up. Lift chi up and pour chi down. Chi, vital essence, energy, life force. Gather. If I can't reach up, I reach out, almost like I'm swimming. Clasping the hands behind the back. And if you've been with me on YouTube or other places before, you've probably seen a lot of this. And I do this stuff every day. Why? Because, you got to do the basics, the fundamentals. Activated my hands and get my body and my energy body and my breath warmed up, and now I continue to pump my body. It's all the stuff that happens naturally. It's just the natural yawn and stretch. These natural tendencies as a human being and throughout life, right? You can see examples of this, and our just natural yawn and stretch, and just taking our movement and our stretching and our breathing to a higher level of awareness and experience. I'm just lifting the heels one at a time, letting my hips move, breath in the belly, continually calling my awareness, my attention, my mind, my thought activity into what I'm doing now. If there's something more important, or it's not a safe environment, or there's something going on, then I exercise will and choice to do what's best for me in this moment. But if I'm in good space and good enough anyway, and I'm doing something good for my body here, then the best thing I can do is to let my mind be here too, and to focus my mind on my breath and the feelings in my body. This could be slow and light and easy, always in the way that's right for you. So as I continue to focus my mind on my feelings and my feet and my body, my breath, it begins to harness the power of my mind and my will into this moment. Whatever I've chosen to do at this time, I am present with. I am participating fully with. And even if my mind gets distracted 1,000 times, I call myself back 1,000 times. And eventually, my mind catches on. This is what we're up to. The mind senses, the body feels the deep breath and goes, I know this dance. I know this song. It's time for me to be me. Time for me to be here in my body in this chosen experience. Slow it down, relax the arms, shake it out a little bit, shake a leg, breath in the belly. You can also lightly step in place. All these things can be modified to suit your environment and your purpose. It can be big, loud, expressive, and it can be very quiet and gentle and subtle and not obvious to people around you what you're up to. I've used this throughout my life. I've been doing this over 30 years and teaching for over 20 years now, and there's no end to that road, till my final breath, per se, I suppose. So here we go. You get it into the hands, shake it out, hands on the hips. I'm just going to start to slowly rock the hips back and forth, and you might have to be even slower, and you might not get as far. You're going to open up the hip ball joint, hip flexors. Just feel around in there. How far can I go comfortably? Almost like the hips being a foot of a rocking chair, just rocking back and forth. And then bring it to one side and begin to make a circle in the air with the hips. Let the pelvis press forward gently. Be mindful of your lumbar spine. Hip to the side, let the butt go back. Drawing a circle in the air with the hips. Stirring the pot as if the pelvic and hip area were a bowl, a pot. And the spine was the spoon. And we're just stirring this deep, rich, nutrient, nourishing energy in our body. You're into the chakras, or the Chinese reference to that, the dantians, or whatever reference you might have. The core, right? This key area of vitality in the body, gut health, getting into the vagus nerve and parasympathetic health. And slow down, reverse the circle. Although Andy's mind and curiosity and intelligence likes to explore all these ideas and think about things and the way things work, it's really not necessary for me to know. I focus on my breath in my belly. I focus on the sensations of my hips rotating and my ankles rotating. That calls me here, and whatever needs to happen for me is what is happening now. Whatever does or does not happen, it's all okay. And bring it to the center, resting the arms at the side, and just begin to twist side to side. Let the hips move. You'll feel a twist gently in the torso and the spine. Arms just flip-flopping. Right? If I'm stiff, then my arms are staying out. I just let my arms relax and let them flip-flop around. You might be slower and easier with that. Your body might respond well, and you might push a little bit more, twist a little further. There's all kinds of details, and if it sticks to you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. There'll come a point where it's for you. It's relevant. If it's not relevant, don't worry about it. Breath in the belly. Feel the body pushing from one foot to the other. My push from the foot to the earth pushes back through my body and channels and translates as a spiral along my spine, out to my arms. And if you can, lightly bend the elbows. Let your hands slightly tap the body, the lower back, and the upper shoulder and chest. If that doesn't feel comfortable yet, then just let your arms hang. Breath in the belly. Feel your body. Move your body. Breath, pumping the breath through the lungs. Blood through the heart, through the body. Energy through the body. And relax. Once again, lightly shaking it out. Step in place. And here we go. I'd like to introduce Fire Flower Qigong, exercise 1, pushing the sky. And this is, if I could only choose a handful of things to do the rest of my life, this would be one of them. And it can be modified to suit your needs. It doesn't have to be as full or extreme as what my body's doing. Make it right for your body and do the best you can. You could even do this from a chair. So we're going to work into the vertical alignment. So there's lots of details I could talk about, but basically just getting into our center, this earth, human, and heaven connection, this sense of gravity and self in the body. So here we go. Once again, adjusting breath. Exhale. My feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. Not too wide, not too narrow. Gather. Moving the hands up and down my spine. Breath up and down my body. Gather. Fill. As if I'm lifting the breath into my body. As if my hands press the breath out. As if my hands call and scoop from the earth up to my head, up to the sky. As if my hands call the sky through my body, my head into the earth. Relax the breath. Hands in lotus position, standing lotus, or you might be seated with your feet on the floor. Connecting the middle fingers and then the index and thumbs. And it doesn't matter if you have it just right. The most important thing is that you are feeling okay in your body and the movements. Breath in the belly. Open the palms. Bend the knees and cross the arms. Let yourself hug and round yourself forward a little bit, but not too far. If you can bring your knees in, bring your knees in. They don't have to touch. Or you could just gently squat, not too deep. And then open up. Arms swing down, knees press out. Straighten the legs and lift the arms to the side with the palms facing forward. And not so far out to the sides, but rounded in a little bit. Gathering from the earth up into our lower chamber, the belly, abdomen. Bend the knees. Rotate the palms. Thumbs go back slightly, hands at a diagonal. As I press my roots, my legs into the earth and my branches begin to grow. And as I calm myself into the chest, into the heart, solar plexus, middle chamber. And then I straighten up, align, and reach up. If you can't reach up, reach out somewhere or even reach down instead. Aligning the palms and fingers, aligning myself in this vertical alignment, heaven, human, earth, connection. Give you a side view, interlace the ring and middle fingers. It's a hand posture, leaving the pinky, index, and thumbs extended. If your hands don't cooperate, don't worry about it. We're just stretching now. And now we're going to lean the head back or keep the head neutral if that's the safest and best position for you, your balance, your spine, breath in the belly, chin down, without force. We're not into forcing things here. We're here to set up the situation, the circumstance, the condition for things to allow things to happen. Allow the body to realign, blood to flow, breath in the belly. Bend the knees, bend the elbows, and ease down, melt. I'm resting the hands behind my head like I'm sitting in the grass looking at the sky, thumbs in the soft tissue at the base of the skull, aligning the spine and locking. I'll give you a slight side view. And so as I bend my knees, I can tuck my tailbone under a little bit, lengthen my lumbar spine. My chin is level, slightly tucked, so I lengthen my back of my neck, my cervical vertebrae. And then I'm going to lock the upper, middle, and lower chambers by bringing the elbows back. And my hands press gently into the back of my head. I engage my neck and my head, my upper chamber, brow and throat and crown. Squeeze into the belly, engaging my lower chamber, my sacral and root. And then that squeezes on the back of my shoulder blades and the back of my middle chamber. Heart and solar plexus opens my chest. And then release, elbows forward, rounding the back. Just letting that flow for a moment. And squeeze and release. We do a lot of that, using all these internal dynamics of the body functions to facilitate our health. Now, hands above the crown. And we're going to either shift back onto the heels, taking the weight off the balls of our feet, and then center, or shift back and rock briefly, feet flat. Turn the palms forward and up, and instead of directly above my head, I'm going to push out a slight diagonal. You might or might not be able to go onto the toes. You may or may not be able to hold it. I'm going to push up at a slight diagonal, up onto the toes, squeeze my knees towards each other like I'm trying to hold a basketball between my knees, squeeze my belly. Release Separating the fingers, point the index finger, pointing up above the head, reaching well above the head, or even out in front or even down if you can't reach up. And now coming down onto the feet flat, big opening arc around our body, our personal space, our guardian field, our aura. Halfway down, switching lowest position, index and thumbs connected. And then I scoop myself. I gather myself into this belly, into this body, and relax. Open the palms, bend the knees, cross the arms. If you can bring your knees in, do that. Swing the hands down, knees press out, and push up. Legs lengthen, arms float up. Once again, brushing our arms through our field, space around our body, our personal space. And I let that pour in from above as my arms form a funnel, and I plant my root deep into the earth, bend the knees. I meet myself in the middle, in the heart. And now I rise, and if I can't reach up, I reach out or down, match up the palms and fingers. Once again, interlace the ring and middle fingers, or just keep your hands connected. Reach up, breath in the belly. Opening up this vertical alignment in the body, opening up the spaces, the joints. Head back. You have your eyes closed or looking up at your hands, breath in the belly. Or just keep your head and neck neutral the whole time. This isn't right for you at this time. Chin down, keep reaching up. Breath in the belly. And now melt. Interlace the fingers, resting the hands behind the head, thumbs in soft tissue at the base of the skull. Align the spine and lock. So I'm going to, with my knees bent, tailbone tucks under a little bit, like I'm pointing my tailbone towards the ground. Lift the chin just about level, slightly tucked. Elbows and shoulder blades back. I squeeze my body, squeeze my belly. It could be a gentle squeeze or a firm squeeze. I activate my body, and then I relax it, let it flow. Shift or shift back and rock. Hands come directly above the crown of the head. Roll and rotate the palms forward and up, a slight diagonal upward or somewhere out in front or even down. So you could do this going down instead of up. Give you a side view. Pushing up, squeezing in, squeeze in the belly, release the elbows, separate the fingers, point up to a single point, about 4 feet above the head, big open circle. Flowing down, halfway down, switching to lotus position, and then complete the circle and gather myself into vitality, into life, into this body, and relax. You could do you could do up to 8 of those at a time. More than that's not necessary. We're going to move on to the horizontal alignment. We've worked the vertical. Now exercise 2, fire flower qigong, the archer. Shift your weight to the side, breathe in. If you want to keep it high and light, don't step. If you can go a little wider, step out, exhale, cross the arms. If that's wide enough, stay there. If you can go wider, open up wider. We're into a horse stance, or you might be in a chair, arms, legs out to the side. Inhale up. Point the index finger. Reach into that vertical alignment, palms forward, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sit lightly. Let the hands be out there in front and connecting with the heart, but not too close to the chest. We're going to stay in this wider stance. You might feel like, okay, I need to bring that in a little bit. That's a little too wide. Or maybe, oh, okay, I'm stronger than I thought. I could sit here on this horse here. All right. Turn at the waist. Rotating the back leg, side arm, palm faces the back wall, like you're drawing on a string on a bow and arrow. We're going to draw back the string and then push the bow forward. I'm going to press the knees. So I'm keeping it pretty high and light. Typically, I'll come down a lot further and turn my toes out. Now, point with your fingers and look to the side. Then look, center and open up wide. Point the fingers to the side. Then flex the wrists, moving out to the horizon, and now calling the horizon back. Rise up and squeeze. Bring the hands towards each other, palms facing out away from the heart, and then sit lightly. A little bend of the knees. So if you were actually on a horse, you'd have a shock absorber in your legs. Turn to the other side. One fingertip, forward arm is pointing up. Back arm, fingertip is pointing to the horizon. Draw back the string, extend the bow, and I'm going to press my stance. Maybe it's just a ½ inch. Maybe it's a little bit deeper. Look across my fingertip, and now I'm going to release. Point my fingertips in the direction I'm looking, then look center and open up wide, out to the side, stretching the energy and the tissues across the body horizontally. And then flex the wrists, and now I'm going to call all that in, from the outside in, from the ground up, from the heavens down. And I meet myself in my chest and my heart. We can walk in our feet one at a time, like we went out one at a time. Or we can shimmy, heels in, breath in. Toes forward, breath out. Heels in, breath in. Toes forward, breath out. I'm returning myself to a natural stance. Exhale, gather, and release. Cleansing the breath, cleansing the body, the mind, emotions. Gather. Fill and let it go. Third deep cleansing breath. And then gather like you're holding a delicate ball, a soap bubble, iridescent. If you're of the imaginative kind, you can imagine you have a sun, a glowing sphere of light, of energy between your hands. Let yourself twist, sway, and move gently, or rock yourself if you're seated. And just let your body open up, breath in the belly. Begin to guide and direct your mental activity, your awareness, to the sensations of the palms of the hands and the fingers, breath in the belly. Just taking a moment to tune inward, to look inside. I have detailed videos on this on the YouTube channel. Most of it's under learning or guided practice, somewhere in there. If you want to explore this further, breath in the belly. Now let it all rest and relax. And once again, circulating through our field. From the outside in, from the earth up, pouring from the head down. And I press my body, press my stance, my legs a little bit, and then push off from the feet and scoop up. And if I can't scoop up, I scoop out, even if it's not very far. Moving my body, circulating my breath and my blood, my energy. I gather myself in fullness and receive myself in this moment in fullness. Whatever it is that I am at this time. Now from the inside out, I rise in fullness. I push up from the earth, rise through my body as a body. I reach up to the sky, and if I can't reach up, I reach out, and then I float down. Like a fountain, like a spout. I gather the rich nourishment, nurturing energy from the earth up through my body, up and out my head, reaching up to the heavens, and then out in a big circle in all directions, a sphere. As I circulate and return. Exhale, inhale up and down the center. 1, 2, and 3. And shake it out. Shake a leg. Step it in place. So now we're going to do a little bit of Tai Chi movement. Not like Tai Chi that you've seen at the park or on TV. It just doesn't translate well to the screen. If you ever tried to follow a complicated set of movements on a screen, even for myself, it's very challenging. So we're taking the movements that are strung together in a sequence, in a form, in a choreographed set. We're going to take pieces of that and work on the individual forms that they are. And so the idea in Tai Chi is you have all these forms or all these movements taking place, and then they're woven and connected through transitions, one type of movement to another type of movement. And the idea with that, along with yoga and other practices, is that the more diverse my body movement, the more I practice the full range of stillness to high intensity stuff or medium intensity stuff, that through my activity, to whatever degree I can do it today, that I participate to whatever level that is, even if it's just my breath or just focusing my mind, whatever that happens to be, easy movement, even if I can't do the big deep stuff, right? Then I do what I can, and it's enough, and that begins to calibrate and retrain my system. And today, now 30 some years later, from when I started, I couldn't touch my toes when I started doing kung fu. I couldn't kick very high. Right now, I'm fairly flexible. I'm not the most flexible person out there, but I've grown quite a bit. But it took a long time for this Andy system to get to that point. So you just take it the way that's right for you. You notice that I'm moving, just kind of keeping myself moving. You might be shifting and swaying, things like that, just to make yourself comfortable. Shake it out and stepping in place. This is called riding the wave. Bend the knees and sink the weight. I'm going to give you a slight side view on this. So it's like I have a little stool behind me. I'm just going to tilt my tailbone and reach my sit bones so I can sit on the edge of that chair. My knees are lightly bent. If I look down across my knees haven't gone past my big toes. I can certainly go much deeper and stretch, and my knees can go further out there, but for mobility, for movement, I want to do things that are going to protect the longevity of my joints and my body. So I want to keep, in a lot of circumstances, keep my knees from going past my toes in these kinds of movements. Hands resting on the thighs, and lift the wrists and the arms floating up, lengthen the legs. I'm going to float up to about shoulder height, nice and kind of relaxing the wrists like you're just resting your hands on a little chin-up bar or something there. And then bend the knees, bend the elbows, let the elbows sink down, hands and fingers follow, and just letting the hands float down to the side, almost like you're pushing up from yourself up from a chair. So I'm seated, and now let the hands come to the front. Ride the wave up, arms floating up like water, and ride the wave down. Bend the knees, sink the weight, and float back down. Just reminding my body to move as one. Even though I have parts, I am one system, one body, one experience, one being, breath in the belly. Rising, legs lengthening, arms floating up. Let that all sink back down. Bend the knees, bend the elbows, arms float down. Riding the wave up and riding the wave down. Just continuing to guide my mind's awareness, my attention onto my breath, the sensations of my breath in my body as I expand and contract in the belly for diaphragmatic movement, as my chest inflates and deflates with the breath. Bring my mind's focus and awareness on the sensations of my feet on the earth, top of my head reaching up to the sky, being stretched from the inside, being pulled from above and grounded below. It's like a rubber band being gently pulled on both ends, becoming elastic, flexible, yet with form, power, and resilience. Breath in the belly, floating up and down. Awareness of my legs lengthening and my arms rising, shoulders relaxed. Aware of my knees bending, my thighs pressing, my arms bending and floating back down. Continue with breathing at your own pace or breathe with me. Exhale. Inhale, gather, rise. Exhale, sink and float down. The natural oscillation of the universe, emptiness and fullness. I empty out and I fill again, gather. I rise, I expand, and I release and let it go. There's nothing I need to hold on to. Whatever needs to persist and continue will do so. Gather, breathe. As my life continues, my breath continues. Exhale. We don't take one breath and hold it in for life, right? Always breathing in and out. Gather. And let something new arise. The breath arrive and let it go. Let the moment resolve. As I move into the next breath, the next moment, I gather and release. Relaxing the breath. Only raise your arms as high as you can. If you can, reach your arms up to the sky, and as they come up, if you can, palms forward, reach your fingertips up to the sky, and if you can't reach up, reach out, or you can even reach down instead. There's a similar effect if I stretch my fingers and reach down to the ground. It's only fairly symbolic that we do it through our range of movement and flexibility and postures. And then let the hands gently float down. And you may have had to release your arms earlier than I did. That's okay. And now just let your arms reach down, stretch your fingertips towards the earth as if you could dip your fingertips into the soil. It doesn't matter that there's a floor or you're on a high rise. It appears as though there's something between you and the ground below you. You're connected to the center of the earth through gravity. Your body knows it. Your fingers can reach into it. Your feet stretch towards it. And then hands to the thighs and rise up. We're going to rise all the way up. And you might feel like standing is uncomfortable. You could even do this seated, but you might also decide to gently twist side to side. Or you might have to take the weight off one foot than the other and wiggle the toes. You might have to bend the knees or move around a bit. That's quite all right. Whatever you need to do. As long as you're not causing your pain or too much strain. And float down. Just allow yourself to descend from above into the body, through the body into the earth, and reach the fingers down towards the ground. Always having a light opening in my joints, a gentle, soft bend in the knees. My legs can be straight but not locking the knees back, cutting off circulation. And I leave an openness in my joints, breath in my belly. Crown of the head reaching to the sky, stretching my spine upward, rooted and grounded into the body, into the feet, and the fingers reaching towards the earth. One more time, bend the knees, hands to the thighs, and rise up. At any point that you need to stop lifting your arms, just stay there. If you can, reach up, and if you can't reach up, reach out or down. Breath in the belly. Aligning in the vertical once again. So many ways and postures and methods for all this stuff. The trick is to find the things that you can tolerate, that you like, and that you could repeat. And it's through the repetition that things grow, that you become, that you remember who you are, why you're here. You claim your space and your body. You let go of what is not you. Now floating down, just letting yourself descend. You are the light from the sun. You are the soul, the spirit. You are the body and more. You are your thoughts and more. Your emotions and sensations and more. Just let yourself begin to just gently twist and sway and move, and just breathe and relax. You might find tightness somewhere in the body, and you might put your hands there. Your body might feel like, oh, I want to open up a little bit there. Maybe feel some frustration or something rising. I squeeze and let it go. And shake it out. Shake a leg. Universal sound of relief. You don't have to speak the language to know what that is, some form of that, what that might mean. When someone lets go an of frustration and release, or of joy, there's all kinds of ways we express and release that. And one more time, 3 deep cleansing breaths. Exhale. Fill from the belly up. Maybe you can't take a very deep breath or make a loud sound, so you keep it gentle and quiet and softer. Coordinating breath and the movement of the hands, helping to guide the mind's awareness, the hands, the breath, the body. Calling myself into this moment, this experience. 3rd deep breath. Could just do 1 breath, could do 5, could do whatever. 3 is kind of that magic number that it's enough. It's enough to signal to our system it's time, that we're safe, we can relax, we can heal, let life resume, digest the meal, improve diaphragmatic circulation, movement, and lymphatic circulation, and get into life again, get into the belly, the passion for life, get into the heart, and some love and compassion and some self-love, and safe to explore that head, right? Those thoughts, right? But I have a little more influence than I know, right? So I can begin to direct and redirect where my mind goes and the thoughts. I can't control what thoughts are generated in my brain, but I can begin to harness and focus those thoughts to be more positive and productive, not in denial of what's real. So if I'm really in a situation or going through something, I want to be with that and real with that, and allow myself to move and make choices around that. And when I can, even if it's the first second at a time, I call myself into my breath, into my body, into my center, so I can have the most effective way to engage my life, so I can navigate from the inside out. And as I receive from the outside in, I allow my body system to absorb and process and release what's not for me. So once again, shake it out, shake a leg. Okay, hope you enjoyed your journey today. I could repeat this as often as you like, of course. And one more time, chi up. And all these things are exercises, to help facilitate certain awarenesses and energy flow and sensations. And they're just that. They're an exercise, a technique. The idea is eventually to grow beyond the techniques and just do stuff because it's fun and you like it, but that you could make it work for you, and that you don't really need to do all this other stuff. You are already all of it already. All I need to do is call my awareness to my hands, my breath, and my belly, and I can feel more life taking place in my body, in my life experience. I feel something greater and stronger coursing through my body, supporting my mind, my heart, my life. And breath out. Breath in, hands towards the face. Gather and release. Let it go. It's melting, cascading from the top down, grounding, received into the ground, into the earth. Beautiful. Thanks for coming around. Namaste. Sheshe. Sheshe means thank you in Chinese. To the best of my ability and knowledge. Thanks for coming out to play. We'll see you next time. Peace and love.